And I remember I just see the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at my old school papers and I saw that there was like these printed, like kind of typed up kind of sections. And I had written the Black Panther Party in the middle of something, like in the middle of it in my writing. I'm probably like at 13, 14. So it was in passing, you know, but then when you're a young Black man navigating the Western construct, you're gonna attract those kind of ideas if you love yourself, if you wanted to empower yourself, you're gonna the Black Panther Party is gonna arrive to you. And so it came to me in natural ways, in conversations, or in watching things, or taking in art, and like you're just taking in a lot of stuff. That's how it kind of came to me, and I educated myself on it by myself. Like I read Asata's book, like that was just me doing stuff in my spare time, you know, because it was stuff that that.
You know, I'm listening to you talk, man, and I will always be intrigued by British actors who can make their accents go away for certain roles. I'm from South Carolina, and I can't get rid of this accent to save my life ever. How is it? How are y'all able to do that?
It's work, bro. It's work, bro. It's like you got to get in. You know what I mean? It's like if you're like being a vessel for Chairman Fred, you just going, you can't even approach it with your accent. You can't even approach it with your essence like that. Do you know what I'm saying? With your experience, you have to kind of surrender and let your shit. Can I swear? Is it swearing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You kind of let your shit go. Do you know what I'm saying? And then kind of just come to it. You know what I'm saying? And when you come to it, you have to adopt these not only speech rhythms but thought rhythms. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to think in a way in that space, and then your speech changes. You can't think like a brother from London. You know what I'm saying? You can't think like him when you're looking at it. So it's kind of like it's a scenario of surrendering.
Did you talk to Fred Hampton Jr. about this role also?
No, we met the family. So I went to Chicago. Before the shoot because I really wanted to meet the family. And we couldn't do it on that trip. And I went to Maywood, I went to his Chairman Fred's old school, old homes, everywhere he went and where he used to speak at, spoke to people in Chicago, understood how he felt to the people in Chicago. And then later on, we went to a trip and we went to meet Chairman Jr. and Mama Akua, Chairman Fred's partner. And yeah, it was like a 7-8 hour meeting and it was real. You know what I'm saying? It was real. You know, he had views. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of just looked at us and said, yo, why are you doing this? And then why'd you do this? You know, like I remember Mama Akua said, why'd you make art? You know, what does art mean to you? You know what I'm saying? And I found out stuff about myself in that situation, but I didn't really sit down with the family to go, yo, you know, nah, I don't really engage with people like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I engage with me. I'm in a position, I want to come here in respect and reverence, do you know what I'm saying, and humility, and I move like that, do you know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't want to go, I don't move in a way that I want to take from Black people, you feel me? I mean, and I think people need to be clear that, you know, the root of all ideas is usually in the language that people speak. So the fact that we are all on this call speaking English, you know, because the construct that we are all navigating as like in terms of like racism in this towards Black people is rooted in England. You know, they came over and they did what they did. So in England, the climate's different because it's their land. You don't feel because it's their land. There is a conflict. There is a conflict, but it is subtle. You know, there isn't an insecurity that they stole it, but there is police brutality. I mean, you can see it in Mark Duggan. You know, that's kicked off the 2011 London riots, and his murder. You know, and like Smiley culture. You know, there's so many Black figures and Black people who have been killed by they've just been murdered by the police, and there've been risings, and you know, the Brixton riots in the 80s. The battle's still going on within England as well.
What do you say to critics who say roles like Fred Hampton should go to Black Americans only?
I listen to them. I'm not trying to say anything to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just listening because it's like because I feel like I'm in a position where I'm about union in the diaspora. You know, so if someone's feeling away, I'm going to listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to find how can we come together. You know what I mean? How can we come together? And if that's how they feel, there's been a history of people ignoring and dismissing what African American people are feeling and what they're expressing. I'm not going to contribute to that culture. I'm not in the business of that. It's the reality. So if they're feeling away, they're going to listen. I'm going to say, yo, I'm here to unite. And if they feel like, yo, I don't want to unite with you, then cool. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine, a group of Black Panthers teaming up with these white people that, are supporting a Confederate flag, and it got a little bit tense. And it is true, like I feel like people are so divided today, and there is some common ground, but it's just sometimes difficult to have those understandings. And I think the character of Chairman Fred was so calm in the way that he was able to speak to people, and just that speech that he was an orator, right?
Yeah,
They kept saying throughout. So I thought that was really interesting, because I can't imagine walking up into a church and there's a Confederate flag.
But he was just wise enough. I mean, he says it in his saying, you don't fight fire with fire, you fight fire with water. You know, in order to overcome this system, you have to do it with solidarity, not fragmentation. You know, and that's the key. He understood that with going to the Young Patriots and understanding, even though they were in conflict, that there were points of interest. There were points of interest that they aligned with, but that's not in sacrifice of the love of you, the love of Blackness, and the love of the Black community. That's imperative. That's no compromise there, you know. But we can come together because we're both being neglected in this situation by the powers that be. And if we come together, we can overcome this, you know. We can heal your kids, you know, we can educate your kids, we can feed your kids. It's how they saw it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you, when you think about what he did, right, as that character, is there any redemption you can find for somebody like that? Because the whole movie, I just kept being like, oh, I can't stand him.
Yeah, I mean, like, the stuff I read that he did after that was just you know,
Yeah, he killed himself.
Yeah, but not even that is how he carried on, you know, in that area and what he did to that community. But for me, it's just to be clear that he is pawn. You know, it's like it's he's an it's the FBI. You know, like it's that he is being used
Right.
by people. You know, and it's to be clear on that, and
He's
also
weak.
to be. What did you say?
I said he's weak.
I think he's apathetic. I think he's indifferent. And I think what you see in this film is the danger of not caring, the danger of apathy, and the danger of self-preservation. And you think you're preserving yourself, taking care of yourself, and it led to him destroying himself. You know, because
right, and his whole community. I mean, he destroyed the whole movement.
Yeah, but the movement can't be destroyed, Angela. It can't be destroyed.
Right.
That's what Chairman Fred's saying. It can't be destroyed. That's why people out there last year rising up. There's people out there out on the front line. It's just not the topic that we're talking about right now. But the movement cannot be destroyed ever.
And it wasn't just him either. So, which is also crazy.
Yeah. And it's the games they play. It's the games they play, and we'll rise above it. I need to really look over that. So why am I empowering them with a belief that oppresses me? How can I empower people that don't like me? That don't make no sense. I'm not in the business of that. You feel me?
Yeah.
So then I go, all right, cool. I need to really look at that. Really look at the words I say. Really look at, because my body's listening. You feel me? When you say stuff, your body listens to you.
Well, you know, you got to rap, guys. You got to go.
Have you ever experienced the type of betrayal by one of your own that Fred Hampton experienced in regards to William O'Neal?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. I would have to think about that. I don't know. He's getting into therapy land. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Like,
by the
sign
way,
up for this.
I'm sure you needed some therapy after this role, because that's an intense role. Because you had to take on the trauma of a whole generation, the trauma of a whole movement. I'm sure you had to do some therapy to get that out you.
Yeah, I had to look at myself. I had to really look at myself. And I was blessed to have the pandemic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I really just sit down. First time I probably sat still since probably, I don't know, since like 2015.
Ooh,
And so it's that kind of it was a lot. It was a lot to take, and I can see that like how I access characters is not in a I abandon myself, and I don't advise anyone to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's there's a way that you can get what you want whilst taking care of yourself and loving yourself at the same time. But you know, sometimes you kind of go, well, this is all I have, especially when you come from not a lot of money, not a lot of anything. So you're going to use yourself as raw materials. You know what I'm saying? But you don't realize you're burning yourself like a raw material. You know what I'm saying? Instead of enriching yourself and pouring into yourself whilst giving yourself, you know, I had to look at that, and I'm still looking at that.
I like that phrase you used. You abandoned yourself. Like when? During the role or after?
During when I creatively, I do the habits of that person. So I'm waking up listening to Malcolm X. I am waking up listening to Martin Luther King speeches. I am taking up smoking. I'm in the space. I'm doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not me. I'm not living as me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing like I'm living as how I feel Chairman Fred was living in order to be in that spiritual space. So, and then I would associate that to abandonment. You know what I'm saying? And that's not cool. You know what I'm saying?
Is that method acting? Is that what they call method acting?
I wouldn't call that method acting. I don't know. Method acting is when you're in character all the time, when I'm just here and then I'm just like, yo, Angela, you call me Fred. That's it. Call me Chairman. That's it. That's all I want to hear. I don't really do that. I don't really do that. But for me, it's just like, I just want to, it's like rituals, like triggers to constantly like, yeah, you're in the space, you're in the space, you're in the space. But I don't know if I took care of myself going into it, and I don't think I took care of myself going out of it. So wow. I'm going to look at my process, you know?
How do you get out of that? How do you get out of it to get back to some type of normalcy?
It takes a while, my guy. It takes a while. A lot of baths, a lot of taking care of yourself, a lot of just like kind of catching myself. What I used to do is like, I used to go away for a week by myself, take my phone off, and thought that would reset me. But you know what it is? I realized last year I'd carried everything since Get Out. Every role I'd taken, I'd carried, and I hadn't said bye to it. I hadn't said bye to it, so it was in my body. You know, and so I had to look at myself.
When you say you take baths, you put some salt in that water, man? Nothing like a relaxing salt bath.
I'll put some Epsoms in that, you know, I'll put some Epsoms, some Himalayans.
Hey.
I get right with it. You know what I'm saying? I put some baking soda.
That's
I
right.
got baking soda. You know what I mean?
Do you think a movie like Judas and the Black Messiah is relevant as far as what's going on in the world today? Like, could you see a Fred Hampton existing? Do you know anybody that's like that, to try to bring together all different groups of people to fight against police brutality?
There probably is Chairman Fred out there, you know, and that's what it is about Judas and Black Messiah. We're trying to show that this man is a human being, you know, that you have the capacity. Anyone out there has the capacity to go out there and support their community and pour love into their community, you know, and empower their own to free themselves, you know. But in terms of like how it's like today, I feel Chairman Fred and Black Panther Party and through this film, just articulating how a lot of people are feeling right now. You see it with last year with the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and the response to that is that like this film articulates how people are feeling and what to do about it, you know? Because I have one of my favorite sayings is do something, start small, start local, keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I feel it's that. It's like go decentralize empowerment. You know, that's how I feel. It's about, yo, let's take the power for ourselves and empower people around us.
Really rich, you should buy a Black Panther. Because it's something the universe is trying to tell you about Black Panthers. You've been in the movie Black Panther, now you playing Fred Hampton. You should actually buy a Black Panther. The way Mike Tyson had a white tiger as a pet, buy a Black Panther as a pet.
Yeah, my mom really grew up in Africa, but I don't know what she feel about that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, like, what you doing? What you doing? We run from these people, bro. We run from these people. Why are you buying these people? I ain't got time to buy. I ain't buying wild animals, my guy. I'm not buying wild animals. I'm cool. I'll buy a picture. I sponsor one. My guy. I sponsor one for you. I call it Charlemagne. Charlemagne the Panther. You know what I mean?
Daniel, Kaluuya, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Salute.
Big up, man. Big up, guys, man.
Peace,
it's an honor.
King.